It turns out Doom the Dark Ages is a bigger change for the series than we realised. This isn't just a Doom in the olden days reskin, a Doom with a shield and a flail and a furry black Jon Snow cape. Oh no, this is a proper revision of how the series works. Ironically, given the setting, it's also the most modern feeling of the Doom games, with a much more pronounced story than we've had before, a greatly expanded character upgrade system that borders on skill tree territory, and open-zoned sandbox levels that you can return to and explore at your own pace. And while we both admire the desire for change and acknowledge the need for it, we're not entirely convinced about the Dark Ages yet. There's undeniable Doom magic here, but there are question marks too. At the heart of Doom the Dark Ages is the shield, your spinning-bladed new toy, which you receive from the beginning and which serves as a conduit through which all of the game's new ideas run. The Dark Ages mantra is stand and fight, and it's the shield that enables you to do that. You block with it, parry with it, reflect projectiles with it, throw it, smash walls, and solve environmental puzzles with it. And you can also use it to propel yourself forwards like a thundering missile. It is a tool you'll always have at hand and around which everything is built. The shield brings a different rhythm to play. Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal were based around movement, outrunning and outmaneuvering enemies while you selected the best guns for dealing with them. But Doom the Dark Ages feels more like Resident Evil 4 as you study the battlefield with your shield up and feet planted, prioritising which targets to take out first. Where are the weak points? Where are the glowing green enemy attacks you can rebound with your shield with a loud metallic bong if you time it right? Where are the big enemies with leaping melee attacks that you need to parry? Where are the superheated metal shields and armour you can destroy by flinging your shield at them? Are there any large enemies you want to stun by lodging your spinning shield inside them? Do you need to close a gap by shield charging anyone, or obliterate a group of weaker enemies in the same way? The shield is at the centre of it all. And because the shield gets you in close, there are more melee options for you to use. The chainsaw has gone, or should that be buzzed off, so your trusty punch has been buffed to pick up some of the slack. It's now a gauntlet that attacks in a punching sequence of 3, as does the deliciously wicked flail, the spiked mace on a chain that you pick up later on. Their 3 attacks mean it's possible to shield charge into an enemy, hit them 3 times, and then glory kill them if they're hurt enough. That's a potential string of 5 melee attacks in one devastating sequence, which feels radically different to attack patterns in the other Doom games. Melee combat in Dark Ages then actually reminds us more of the Batman Arkham games, with their rhythmical battles as you tumble around parrying and destroying packs from within. As previously mentioned, glory kills return here, although they are slightly changed now. They still make enemies give ammo and health, but they don't lock you into animations as rigidly as they did before, sometimes because the attack won't outright kill the enemy in question. There are some really beefy adversaries here, so it seems that, with better defences, come more sturdy foes. Around all of this is a refreshed arsenal showing wonderful imagination and an expanded upgrade system to customise it with. More fundamental pieces of equipment, such as the shield and gauntlet and flail, can support several upgrades. The shield can do things like bounce around enemies if you want, but the guns usually only have a choice of about 3 or 4 upgrades. It's partly because there's no alternate fire anymore, because the shield overwrote it, occupying the alternate fire button slot. out, so the choice with guns has become one of build synergy only. Do you want your rapid-fire bullets to ricochet from an enemy you've lodged your shield into onto a nearby crowd, for instance? Or do you want your bullets to superheat enemies so they'll explode when you throw your shield at them? There are some enticing ideas here, and the concept of builds in a Doom game is an exciting change. A quick word on some of the guns. There are some you will recognise and some you won't. There is, of course, a super shotgun, and it's still wonderful in the way id Software's shotguns always are, exploding with a thunderous force. But there are more unusual guns too, such as our early favourite, the cannonball on a chain gun, although that's not the official name. This seems fairly innocuous when you first use it, but oh wow does that cannonball land with some force, thumping chunks of flesh off any enemies that it collides with. It's deliriously good fun and feels almost like another melee weapon when in use. We're also fond of the rail spike gun, which launches metal stakes at enemies and impales them if you aim it right, and we're morbidly drawn to the gun that crushes skulls into ammo and sprays a wide barrage of bullets a short distance, because it's both gruesome and it makes enemies drop health, it seems. These new weapons all support this ongoing idea in New Doom that there's a correct tool for each job, though it does feel less pronounced as a concept here than it did in Doom Eternal. One aspect of the Dark Ages we're not sure about, though, are the sandbox levels, which represent a major deviation for Doom because they hand the tight pacing of the series over to the player. We found the tempo was noticeably different on the level we played called Siege, as we roamed around tackling clusters of enemies, solving environmental puzzles, and tussling with new mini-boss events. These have you clear waves of enemies that effectively shield the boss, meaning you have to get rid of them before you can damage it, and these encounters were tough. So while there were moments of great intensity, there wasn't the focus or pacing overall that the authored scripted levels have. And don't get us wrong, we don't dislike this. A break from the headlong charge of Doom's campaigns is very appealing, as is the opportunity to dig around for upgrade resources and try out new builds. It's also worth noting the sandbox levels are optional. At least that's what we were told in a presentation before playing, but how optional, we don't know. We expect maybe you'll play some of the level and then be allowed to leave, with the option of staying or returning if you want to. It's an interesting development, but we worry that if these sandbox levels are overused, they could bloat the game. Similarly, we wonder how often we'll be riding dragons and piloting megamechs in the game, because from our brief experience of them, neither was particularly fun. Their incredible wish fulfillment, introduced in quintessentially Doom ways, the dragon's arrival in particular, made us giggle with glee. But after 10 minutes, we'd had enough and longed to be back on the ground. The problem these sections have is a lack of detail in comparison to the moment-to-moment action of on-the-ground Doom and the sadistic toolbox of destruction available to you there. Honestly, they feel a bit like mini-games. The dragon section plays like a limited shoot-'em-up, where you fly forwards and shoot a rapid-fire cannon mounted on the dragon's back, though it holds you up with a lock onto enemies and dodge their projectiles mechanic in most combat encounters. And the Atlan mech plays like a glossy mobile action game, limiting you to punching or dodging and occasionally zapping an Iron Man-like palm laser. Even equipping a gigantic chain gun doesn't change the rhythm much. There just aren't enough ideas in either of them for them to feel fun for very long. Plus, their inherent sense of scale also fades quickly in play. The dragon loses size as the camera zooms out to frame it, and the Atlan mech, because it's played in first person, just feels like the rest of Doom, only less interesting. We're not sure what to make of the story yet either. We're fascinated by Doomslayer's growth as a character since Doom 2016, and of course this idea that hell, the scariest place humans can imagine, is full of creatures scared of him, but the story has never been this overt before. In Doom Eternal, cutscenes were used as a way of showcasing a boss before a battle, or to deliver dollops of lore here and there. But in the Dark Ages, story has a capital S, and you'll watch longer cutscenes where named characters present a storyline to you. A lot of this is very enjoyable. The cutscenes are lavishly realised and the characters are glorious in their twisted design, and it all firmly reinforces the fantasy of you, the Slayer, being a terrifying weapon. But it feels noticeably different having a story told like this, and again, we do wonder how it will feel across the full game. Another concern we couldn't shake about the Dark Ages came from a feeling of sluggishness in control, which we didn't expect after the silky smooth Doom Eternal. Some of this has to do with the heft of the new Doomslayer, whose footsteps are thumping stamps and who lands like a meteor, but we suspect another part of it has to do with tuning. Given id Software's expertise though, we are confident that any tuning issues will be addressed by the game's launch in May, and we didn't hear of anyone else having issues with a similar thing. Still, we'd be remiss not to mention it. This is a bold reimagining, a brave departure, and even though we have reservations about some of the things in the Dark Ages, we admire that id Software is trying something new. Yes, we're slightly apprehensive about whether it works as well as the Dooms we've had before, but we realise we're also probably arguing the toss between good and great here, and we wouldn't really want what has come before again anyway. Thank you so much for watching this preview of Doom the Dark Ages. If you enjoyed it, please do give this video a like, subscribe for almost daily videos about video games, and if you'd like to stick with us here on Eurogamer, why not check out some of our other videos which are on screen and clickable right now. Goodbye.